Hello, Six Pack. I am Sparky, and today I'm here to talk to you about Slime Island. Specifically, Slime Island Revamped. So, it is part of the Artificial Islands, which is a revamp of the Artificial Magical Islands. The elements of this island are earth, water, cold, and slime, and those are the ones that can, be used in the breeding structure. However, there's also ones that, one that can be bred through the quad and any triple, which is Gast, which is the plasma element. There's also dipsters, which can be placed down, and then there's the locational element of Starshine. Now, some notes on the island is, the island itself, before we get to, monsters and the design and whatnot, is that there's only one species of tree that was able to, evolve itself to survive here, and this tree notably produces no leaves. The slimy environment cannot support, any other form of plant life, for the most part, because that's not to say that the plant-based monsters are in any danger here. They're not, though they do tend to be a bit weary of Slime Island. Slime Island is a place where monsters go for relaxation. The slime provides, this feeling of being in, a warm bath. Think of, I guess it's kind of like a mud bath, I don't know. But not only that, the steam in the air, as you can see here, you can see a bit of the steam, is caused by the heat of the slime. And speaking of that steam, it's known that it's able to clear one's airway, which is perfect for preparing to take part in an island song. Now, when it comes to the design, we're going to start with the original one, as in the one for Update 1. Alright. So I don't actually have an image here of the island put together, but it is... Well, first off, let me talk about why it got replaced. If you look at it, it looks very blurry, and also compared to every design that came after, it's very not detailed, very plain. And also, there's grid spaces here that you can't place monsters on, but there's no reason for you to not be able to place them there, you know? But here I wanted to showcase those trees. I threw in some eyelashes in the design because, I don't know, I just felt like it needed something a little bit more. I gave it a runny nose, of course, because that definitely fits the theme. And it has this, yellowy crown type thing going on here on the edges. Something notable is that this tree is, completely here. There's two smaller trees coming out here, and it has ears. And the reason I'm noting some of that stuff is because that changes. Here you can see the layer of the steam. And then the sky. In the in the original Slime Island, I'm talking the original, not the revamp, there were clouds, and I wanted to incorporate that, but I didn't want the clouds to be in the sky. So instead, I just made it so the clouds became an overlay. Now let's talk about the Update 1 design. Now I did talk about a lot of the changes and why they... did I just say Update 1? My apologies. That was my bad. So the Update 2 design, there's a lot I changed, but there's also a lot that stayed the same. The eyelashes, I thought that was a really cool idea. The runny nose, good idea. I liked this tree that came up and in. I talked about... I don't remember if I said this or not. I talked about this yesterday in the speed paint video. I think it was yesterday. Maybe it was the day before. I don't remember. I haven't looked at the schedule in, a day or two, so I don't quite remember. I changed the sky to be stripes instead, and that is because of the event. I wanted to have something a little easier to work with. I added, an actual reason for there to be no grid spaces here, and it related to the whole tree thing. The ears are gone because I felt like they didn't make much sense when it came to how the gravity would work. So I have this little spiral of slime here working as the ears. What else? I swapped out the platform in the middle to be slime because I wanted the slime element to be focused on. I wanted the texture of the slime to be very notable, so I made sure to emphasize that with the big ripple in the like top middle here, and then like rippling in the middle as if it's like coming from the middle, like rippling outward. But at the same time, it also kind of like toughens up. Like I'm trying to showcase that it's movable and it's also solid at the same time. Although it can like work as a liquid too. Like it's a very unique substance basically. It takes in the form, like it takes, how do I word that? It comes in the form of pretty much any type of slime you could think of. Like there's some very solid slime. I think there's something called, is it oobleck? I don't remember, where if you hit it with enough force it's solid, but if you just lightly put your hand through it, it's very like liquid. So I wanted to sort of do something like that where it can take on many textures. So let's look at the individual parts here. Here is the overlay, which consists of the slime in the foreground as well as the mist, the steam, whatever you want to call it. Then there is the background, which you can see fully here. You wouldn't be able to see like this entire, like the majority of it actually, because it's covered by the island. And then there's the island design on its own. And something that I did with this island design, and I plan to do with the rest of my island designs in the future, is made it darker toward the bottom because it draws the eyes up. That's something I noticed when studying the art style of the My Singing Monsters game itself. So there's also the Awakened version, and I wanted to keep that crying look, and to do that, I basically just made it so you could see a bit of the tears down here. And I wanted to sort of emphasize the eyelashes a bit more, so I had the slime sort of go along to their shape. Something else I wanted to emphasize was the fact that eyes are very three-dimensional and not 2D, and a lot of people tend to forget that. So I wanted to emphasize that like cone shape because they're sort of going in a bit because they're both facing out. They're not, if they were facing you, it would just look pretty flat on because of like the shape of this. It's like a reversed cone kinda, if that makes sense. And to show that more, I wanted to show the slime like dripping out of that cone shape. I also have other versions here. Here's just the eyes. Wait, is that right? Okay, here's just the eyes, and then here's the eyes with a bit of like something here to sort of block out the eyelashes underneath, so you can just throw it over top of it and it's fine. And here's just that. Because if I didn't have that piece in there, you wouldn't really be able to see the I'm sorry, opposite. You would still be able to see the closed eyes underneath, which kind of breaks the effect. So finally here we have the Independence skin. And I don't think I have a version of it where it's not covered because it's literally just the same exact sprite. However, when I said earlier that the stripes made it easier to work with for the event skin, here's the Independence. I didn't mention, this is the Independence skin. I don't have an image of it altogether, so you have to go to the full song to see that, I guess. But it's so I could do these horizontal stripes to mimic the American flag as the locational event of, not locational event, the locational element of Starshine, which is on Slime Island, represents the United States of America. So that is why stars. And it's literally just the American flag, you know? I didn't feel like having to deal with adjusting the color of the eyes, so I kept the magenta instead of changing it to blue. Credit to my friend Benny MSM, because they did like the concept for this, and that's where I got the idea of these, like the star here, and then a whole bunch of stars scattered around like the trees In the concept, there was a bit more stars than there are here, because I wanted to incorporate these stripes as well, and party hats. I think Benny also incorporated some of the banners here. Not banners, flags. Banners? I don't know. Whatever the correct term is. But I don't remember if they were there specifically. I think there was one here. I don't remember if there were any up here or not. But, yeah, taking a closer look at it, here there's 2 stars over top of each other. 2 stars on the inside of the eye, 3 on the outside. A couple stripes, more stars, of course. Just so many stars. This very, like, shiny star. I don't know what it is, really, honestly. Really honestly, good job there with words. But it's like this very shiny, plasticky material, I imagine. Perhaps hollow. Of course, some reflective party hats. Another party hat in the middle here that goes behind the castle. Star right here, stripes here. Some fun little balloons. Like I said, eyes do not change. And then the overlay also includes some flags in the corner. Let me see if there's anything I didn't talk about in this design here. I think I've gotten pretty much everything. I don't know if did I say that these here are just like root spikes coming out of the ground? Because now it makes more sense why the monsters cannot be placed in like these sections here, because there's ripples here because of the spikes. Yeah, if you want to hear me talk about the design, like, I think I went a little more in depth on some of the design stuff, and also some design tips on the speed paint, so if you want to check that out, I recommend that. Hang on, let me see what else is here. Okay, so now we're on the indigenous monsters. In this case, I'm going to be specifically talking about the ones that are unique to this island, because there's no need to go over, like, T-Rox and Mammoth and Ghast, you know, because they're already in the game. So, we have Saliva. I have they're not bios, but they're just notes. I guess you can treat them like bios, it's really up to you. Saliva is the single elemental of slime. Like all of the unnatural single element, Like all of the unnatural single element artificials, this monster was created rather than being a natural occurrence. It's currently unknown if Saliva's teeth are a natural part of their body, like their eyes, or if they're an artificial creation of their own. If the teeth are like a creation of, like, each Saliva. Perhaps, I'm thinking, like, the idea of, like, dentures, basically. Salivas are known to give off a lime type scented aroma, but taste more like a sickly ghost's plasma. So next up is Wormbull, which is earth and slime. While this monster may look uncomfortable, it needs its worms just as much as they need it, as they have like a symbiotic relationship. So next up is Creakin, and I have a bit more than I've written down to explain here. Okay, so Creakin is water and slime. Coming from the depths of Water Island, this ink-producing monster is a rather uncommon sight. They have been spotted playing with shipwrecks and playing catch with balls of ink. Though their head, assuming they have one, has never been seen in full, if you're lucky, you may see their eyes glowing in a dark cavern. With this monster's design, I wanted to pay a bit of an homage to the party game of the My Singing Monsters series, My Singing Monsters Playground. So this is the Tilt-A-Slime monster. The one, I think it's what's called Tilt-A-Slime, right? But that's what this is. And I wanted, with this design, to, like, make it be able to be on any island. So that's why I have, like, cracks instead of, like, slime. I honestly can't... I think I might have changed the color of this monster, right? Because I wanted to separate it a bit more from Blobbreath. I still made sure that this worm could be seen through the nose and the mouth. Same general idea. I don't remember if the original had 3 eyes or not, but I feel like there was some space up here that I needed to fill. I liked the idea of the double pupil, so I did that. With Saliva, I just wanted to make them more gelatin-like. However, I think they look a bit too flat, because it looks like we're looking at them like straight on, rather than from above a bit more. So I should have gone for a different angle, I think, but this design was made just so long ago now. I remembered that I didn't talk about the design changes, so I went back to do that. Sorry for going a bit out of order. Next up is Blobreth, who is earth and slime. With the design, I wanted to still keep it a blobfish reference. I liked the teeth being very broken. Not broken, but like very uneven, very like, how do I word that? Very like a not perfect set of teeth, basically. And I made sure you could actually see their breath. It's hard to see right now because we're going against like a pretty much white background, but if you look at it in the sounds video, you can see what I mean. So this monster's droopy appearance isn't always so. While this monster is under the slime, this monster is allegedly one of the most gorgeous creatures out there. But it prefers to surface upon guests arriving. Their internal temperature is rather cold to combat the comparatively warm, the warm slime. So when they surface, they need to release all of that cold air because it's just a bit too much when they're, like, in air. So that is where the cold, frosty breath comes from. The number of eyes on a Blobreth can vary from none to around 15, although most have been spotted with about 5 to 10 being visible. There you can see the breath coming out of it. Alright, so now we're on to our first triple. This is Warport, who is earth, water, and slime. Not much changed at all with this design. I feel like I should have done more emphasis on the fingers because they look like blobs instead of hands. I think at the time I kind of just like forgot, and I'm only just now noticing. It was made so long ago that it's not worth fixing now. Plus the full song's out, so there'd be nowhere to see it. But anyway, this monster is named for its call, which has evolved to having after having lived in the same environment with fogs for so long, sort of mimic them. Like, it's meant to show their admiration for the Fwog species. And the species may look up to Fwog, though it's not literal, because even the smallest Warport is taller than the biggest Fwog. Next up is Scrape, who is earth, cold, and slime. When it comes to the design, I wanted to have a bit more energy. The mouth was definitely a reference to Amethyst from Steven Universe, because I'm a big Steven Universe fan. I don't think much has actually changed about this monster, though. I think they're a lot lighter than they were originally, and if I'm being honest, I kind of like the darker orange that they had in their first design. That must be plural. Scrapes are known for their way of communication, scratching their tough hand with their upper claw. These monsters tend to skip along due to the delicate balance they must maintain, as you can see. And they even would do this in their idle animation if they were animated. They commonly live around Slime Island, as the slime provides some healing moisturization to the the scratches, which prepares the Scrape for its next performance. Next up is Murmur, who is water, cold, and slime. With the redesign, I felt like it'd be nice if we could see more of their face. So I have them be vertical instead of laying down. Same general idea, but I really like this design a lot more. I feel like I should have gone with some harder light on the eyes to make them look extra watery rather than like softer light. But oh well. The Murmur is to the other monsters like a well-fed puppy is to us, always wanting just another bite. Of course, the other monsters tend to give in to their watery, sad-looking eyes, and who can blame them? Though in reality, it's likely their 15th meal of the day at least. So basically, the idea of this monster is that when it's going mama, it's essentially like politely asking with these sad, like puppy dog-like eyes for just more of something. Usually it's food, however, it can be other things. But that's the whole deal of this monster. Finally, of the slime monsters, we have Jellyphant, who is the boss monster of Slime Island. Their elements are earth, water, cold, and slime. This monster loves to travel. Slime Island seems to be their favorite destination of choice. At the start of their lives, Jellyphants travel around in groups called parades, learning travel etiquette. Perhaps the slime on Slime Island reminds them of their period in their lives where they were in these parades, as a lot of them look back very fondly on this time period. And finally, we have to actually switch folders for this one. Hang on. Locationals. So this is Amy Rika, and their element. Their element is Starshine. So Amy and Rika both love to explore small islands, especially ones that aren't colossals or titans, but are rather just like masses of land, as they tend to be largely unexplored in the monster world, as most monsters tend to be they tend to revolve more around the colossals and titans and islands that are constructed to look like colossals or titans. So this love for exploration has led to these two monsters, Amy and Rika, pairing up. Amy tends to search from below in the water. This one's Amy here. And then Rika tends to search from above in the air. And the way that they play their sound is through Rika sort of plucking at the strings on Amy's face. It is likely that the what we would see as wheat and a cowboy hat have come from places they've explored. Perhaps a monster has left part of a costume on one of the islands that they've been on, and perhaps they've found a plant that is very adjacent to wheat on one of the islands, and these are essentially just souvenirs. I don't know who the concept artist, I don't know what the concept artist goes by anymore. They used to go by Joe the Bisonaurus, but since I don't know their username anymore, and I don't think they answered their DMs in the place that we used to chat, so there's not really a way for me to track this person down to properly credit them anymore. Just know that the concept design for this monster was not made by me, but of course the rendered versions are. But yeah, that's pretty much everything about all of the monsters. Sorry, I have this written down, but the way that this got spaced out because of the character limit on Discord confused me. Okay, this monster is bred with T-Rox and Murmur, and they're only available to be bred on Slime Island during the Independence event. I didn't mention earlier when I was talking about the skin, but the island skins, the Art of Pendiversary skins, those are for Independence and Artiversary. That's when those are available. Let me see. I think that's actually it. So if you can't tell, the structuring for the... Let's X out of this. Hang on. The structuring for the All About series is different than it used to be, and that's simply because I lost my notes. I don't know where the old ones were, so I can't use the old structure anymore. So I just watched back the Reaction Island video, and I was like, okay, I'll just mimic the structure relatively closely and go from there. But I've decided that I'm not going to play these sounds or the full song in there anymore, just because I want you to go listen to it there, like on the actual full song. And I just want to give a little bit of information. There's 2 days from, I think it's a week or two, I can't remember. Let me look what day it is when I'm recording this. It's the 7th when I'm recording this. I kicked something. So on the 6th and 7th, it looks like there were no videos posted. That is simply just because, like, don't worry, I didn't break my promise of doing daily videos for Independence. The videos were simply just reposts. They were public, but then I had some YouTube channel issues, so they got privated for a while, and then they became public on the 6th and 7th, and that is the Dipsters and Kata for Bright Island Revamped Update 2, Spirit Island, if we're going by the new name. So just know that they are there. They're just not in the place you would expect them to be. Like, in the playlist, they are where they were put when they were first released, basically, because it's in order of release. So just know, if you're looking for those, they're back a bit on the playlist, and they're also back a bit on the video page, because, once again, it's where they were posted, or I guess when they were posted originally, rather than when they were made public again, if that makes sense. So I'm just letting you know that, don't worry, it's still daily, and I'm hoping that it'll be daily videos until the 21st, but it could just be until the 19th. I cannot say at this moment, and by at this moment I mean at the time of recording. One more thing, sorry I'm keeping you here for so long. I'm preferably going to do the All About videos for Tech Island Revamped, which is Digital Island. Like, Onward, I'm gonna do those live. Like, actually live. Like, here, like, I can't, like, edit anything out or anything like that, but it's live. As in, all in one take, and happening on a live stream that is privated. As you can see by the thing on the far right of the camera there, something went wrong. That's because there's no chat for it to see, because it's private. And that's what it's going to be like for the Bright Island one, too, the Spirit Island one. Just know that I'm hoping that all of them are not going to be like that. And it's likely that they won't be like that. Anyway, I'm going to stop rambling. I hope you are enjoying Independence. If you are, tell me your favorite part so far. If there's anything in particular you are looking forward to, that preferably something that has been announced, or if you have a guess to something that hasn't been announced, then let me know. I'm very excited to hear if anyone gets this far. Goodbye.